This is the only film by Jackie Chan that was banned in China and the only one in which he does not know Kung Fu. This is the first time we can see Jackie Chan shout. Shinjuku Incident. Steelhead, a guy working illegally in Japan, knows little about the country and people there. Who'd like to rip us off? Not Yakuza. But there is always someone who is clearly out to get you, and you can't get rid of him. For example, an agent offers a job, but the job hunter needs to pay 10% of the commission before getting the job. The agent said the job is digging foundations for buildings, but the job turns out to be manual garbage sorting. This is what Steelheads encounters. What's worse, they are caught by policemen in charge of illegal immigrants when they are cleaning a sewer one day. The police tell them the agent charged $15,000 but only gave $8,000 to the police. The police are about to repatriate them, but Steelhead can't go. He illegally immigrated to Japan and lost his ID, so it's a dead end for him to go back home. What's more, he came to Japan for some other purposes. All of a sudden, people begin to run away in the chaos. A policeman named Kitano falls into the water. He can't swim. The soft-hearted Steelhead goes back and saves Kitano. Later, Steelhead realizes that the only way to make money without the help of agents is to play dirty, such as pilfering and cheating the vending machine with a sheet of paper for a pack of cigarettes. However, the ways to make fast money have been dominated by the Vietnamese gang and Taiwanese gang, and Steelhead refuses filthy lucre. He chooses to wash dishes in a restaurant. One day, the restaurant is full of people. The head of the Taiwanese gang entertains Iguchi, vice chairman of Sanwakai, the biggest mafia gang in Japan. Steelhead watches the party through the window, but he is stunned because the woman in kimono is Xiu-Xiu, his fiancée. Xiu-Xiu disappeared after she went to Japan for a job. This is why Steelhead is in Japan now. However, Xiu-Xiu is Mrs. Iguchi now. Steelhead is out of his mind the whole evening. He cannot help looking at her, and she also notices him. They are now in two totally different worlds. He is even not allowed to talk to her. Steelhead drinks in company with Jia. Steelhead looks at the street girls and says, "Let's go and have some fun." The next morning, Steelhead makes the decision to get money because nobody can survive without money. And without money, buddies cannot be united. It's not going to work. Steelhead starts to take action. He takes the lead in purchasing 2,000 fake phone cards. All of his buddies earn some money after peddling the cards. Then they use the money to get fake credit cards and do shopping in luxury stores like tourists to get more money. After that, they spend all their money on chips to tamper with the machines in one arcade of the Taiwanese gang. Soon, they recover all the investment. However, Steelhead notices that Jia is not someone who can play against the law. He is always too anxious to make some mistakes even at this primary stage. Thus, Steelhead and other buddies buy Jia a chestnut cart. It seems that they are about to have a good life. On New Year's Eve, all the buddies make dumplings together to celebrate, but they don't expect the landlord to kick them out just because they are too noisy. Steelhead calms his angry buddies down and apologizes to the landlord with his Rolex. People are prone to feel helpless when living under the roof of somebody else's house. Misfortunes never come alone. Something happens to Jia. He falls in love with a girl from a rich family. The girl's father, Uncle Da, is not happy with it, so he beats Jia black and blue. Steelhead wants to defend Jia, but one of his buddies persuades him out of the business because Uncle Da is backed by the Japanese mafia. Steelhead ignores the suggestion and heads out of the room, saying, "What if it's our turn tomorrow?" When Steelhead is confronted by two men of Uncle Da, Honky is the only one following him. At that very moment, Steelhead's buddies arrive. They feel the power of solidarity and they are made stronger by unity. However, again, life punches Jia in the face. The Taiwanese gang has found out what Steelhead and his buddies have done to the game machines. When the gang arrives at the arcade, the poor Jia is looking after the machine for his friend. Jia is caught and taken away. The coward doesn't betray Steelhead. The leader of the Taiwanese gang, Gao, is ruthless. He asks someone to cut Jia's face. Even worse, he puts Jia's hand into the pot for frying chestnuts and cuts it. Steelhead and other buddies arrive, but they are unarmed. In face of the gangsters equipped with knives, they swallow their anger and save Jia first. After confirming that Jia's safe, Steelhead sets out to avenge Jia's tragedy, only to hear about the internal strife of Sanwakai. Tagawa, another vice chairman of Sanwakai, asks the Taiwanese gang to kill Iguchi and promises to give the Kabuki club to the gang. Iguchi is Xiu-Xiu's husband. As an ex, Steelhead doesn't know what to do. After Tagawa leaves, Iguchi comes to Gao's place to collect rent. He feels that something is wrong when he hears a vague sound of iron rubbing clothes. He instinctively ducks and luckily avoids the slash. Iguchi falls to the ground and has nowhere to run. At that very moment, Steelhead picks up his sword and chops off Gao's hand. Steelhead runs away with Iguchi to Iguchi's home. He meets Xiu-Xiu and her daughter. He feels like a loser when he realizes that he cannot break up Xiu-Xiu's family. Steelhead tells Iguchi the truth and the latter offers him a job. Steelhead politely refuses the offer and leaves. The next day, Iguchi comes to Steelhead and makes a deal with him. The former wants to be the leader of Sanwakai, so he wants Tagawa and the chairman to be killed. Steelhead agrees in exchange for legal status in Japan and the Kabuki Club. The next day, both the chairman and Tagawa are killed, stirring up further revenge. More people are killed here and there, and even the reclusive leaders of Sanwakai are shocked. The police follow Iguchi, only to find Steelhead. They cannot believe that it was Steelhead to kill others. Though he has no legal ID, he is always thought to be a nice man. How come he gets involved with gangsters? Later, Iguchi becomes the chairman of his gang and gives Steelhead the Kabuki Club. Steelhead starts his business, and even Uncle Da, who once bullied Jia, comes to congratulate Steelhead on his success. Uncle Da pays protection money to Steelhead, but the latter rejects it, saying that Chinese people don't bully each other. When Steelhead walks everybody out, Jia is there. Uncle Da asks for forgiveness, only to be seized by Jia. The coward has changed to another guy after losing his hand. Nobody can control him, including Steelhead. Unexpectedly, Steelhead hands over his business to others at the celebration party. He finds a job for Jia before leaving. After that, Jia is responsible for showing the new arrivals around. Steelhead buys a farm. One day, Detective Kitano pays a visit, showing Steelhead a document. He says that he shows this to Steelhead because Steelhead saved his life. Steelhead is stunned upon seeing that his gang has been defined by the police as the biggest foreign mafia in Japan. How come? He has told everybody not to touch illegal businesses, but the document shows that the gang is now going against the law. Steelhead promises to stop his buddies and asks Kitano to leave them alone. Kitano agrees, but he has one condition. He asks whether Steelhead killed Tagawa and the chairman. Steelhead considers the whole situation and confesses. Steelhead comes to the arcade, but nobody knows him. Young people there show no respect for Steelhead and even get physical. Honky comes and slaps the young men in the face. Steelhead asked Jia to take care of the new arrivals, but Jia gather a group of young people and work for Iguchi now. He is now addicted to drugs and looks horrible. Uncle Da's daughter dares not to talk to Jia, so he gets physical. The lady's boyfriend comes to stop Jia, only to be beaten up. Cannot somebody control him? Nobody dares because Jia is doing the dirty work for Iguchi. Steelhead decides to work with the police in order to save his buddies. He asks the buddies for dinner, only to find that they are all dealing drugs. He is so disappointed. Someone rises to confront Steelhead, saying that he's also killed people and doesn't have a clean record. Honky wants to be the peacemaker but almost gets beat. The police officer realizes that Steelhead has lost control of his buddies. Steelhead has one last resort, to confess his crime. The police agree to only catch Iguchi and be lenient with others. Nobody expects Jia to take a bullet for Iguchi. Honky gives Steelhead a slash. Fat Tai comes to stop Honky and says that solidarity goes first. Honky stabbed Fatty's neck and says whoever stands in his way is totally dead. What happens is jaw-dropping. The strong brotherhood has been smashed into pieces. All of a sudden, someone breaks the windows behind Honky. He sees a crowd of people downstairs, everyone with a knife. It is Tagawa's son who is taking action. He asks the Taiwanese gang to get rid of Iguchi and Steelhead's gang because he is not happy that Iguchi keeps giving new territories to Jia as hush money, as Jia knows his secret. Jia is so scared when seeing his closest follower being killed. He himself could have been killed if Steelhead hasn't dragged him away. Steelhead's buddies are outnumbered, being killed one after another. Some of them flee to the rooftop and Jia is nowhere to be found. Iguchi escaped from Steelhead but is shot by someone hiding downstairs. Before his death, Iguchi hands over a flash drive with all the documents of Sanwakai to Steelhead and covers Steelhead and Kitano while they are escaping. Later, Steelhead goes back to find Jia, only to find that Jia's belly is cut open. Before his death, Jia says, "I'm nothing but a coward." Steelhead is sad and angry, but he suddenly realizes that Tagawa's son won't let go of Iguchi's family. Steelhead rings Xiu-Xiu and asks her to meet him, but she has already been taken captive. Steelhead is ambushed at the agreed place. Although he has called the police come late. Steelhead gets shot and staggeringly runs away. The police follow the blood to a sewer, the place where Steelhead met the police at the beginning. Steelhead tosses the flash drive into the water and disappears in the endless sewer. Shinjuku incident is an utter tragedy, the core of which is living under the roof of others' places. When kicked out by the angry landlord, Steelhead thought that what he lacked was not a roof over his head, but a continuation of that roof, which is shelter. He chose to work with Iguchi, only to find out in the end that he was nobody to Iguchi and was about to be sacrificed anytime. Then, Steelhead thought that what he lacked was not a mere shelter, but the ultimate goal of a shelter, which is identity. Although he finally got his legal status, he is still described in newspapers as a foreigner. From the beginning to the end, he has been a stranger fooled by destiny. His ending is actually implied by a number of shots in the movie, such as the sewer. From the day he starts to work as an illegal worker, he is destined to struggle in this dim sewer with a mere lamp and cannot never go back home. That was awesome video. I hope you like it. Subscribe for more content like this and hit the button help us out.